professional horseman Cole Price is joining us to talk about this fantastic horse and all of the success that he has had on the 3-year-old stud, Perrfect. Cole, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
This horse has been in your barn. You've had him since you found him as a yearling, I believe you said. Tell me the story behind this horse.
So I showed his mother. I was reserve Futurity champion. I actually bought his mother from Tamarack Ranch as a 2-year-old. She won the Buckeye Futurity in Ohio. She was kind of really the first horse that really put me on the map. You know, she was beautiful gray. It's kind of hard to forget that. And her name was Isn't She Perfect? And that she was. This was actually her first baby. We actually bought as a baby. I think we bought him in July of his weanling year, and we've had him ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're looking at pictures of you showing this horse. This horse and his mom look exactly alike.
Oh, they're so exactly alike.
Are they attitudinally alike too?
Mentally, they're very much the same. Like, I knew that this horse, I'd be able to call on him. She was actually, I was second in the Futurity by only half a point on her. And the odd thing is, these two had the exact same composite score going into the finals and with the same finish. And it's just
we're taking a look at you and we're watching this. Talk about this horse, Cole. I mean, what are we looking at right here, and how much fun is that to do?
You know, the crowd was so loud. That's one thing I really enjoy. I get pumped up when I hear the crowd. I knew going into that run that, you know, I was the last one in the set. I didn't really have the best ground. But my set was kind of the loaded set. Miracle Medili, he'd won the both go-arounds. Casey Deere had won. Cade McCutcheon had the horse that won the Congress. And I was the last one that set. And Cade was a 225. I think Casey was a 226. Like, it was rolling. You could tell the crowd was prepped. And I, you know, slapped myself across the face a couple times and giddied up. And we nailed the first maneuver. And I was having a little problems getting him turned a couple nights before to the right, which is horse shown because that was always his easiest way for the last couple months. And then once I got through the turns, I mean, he circled like a monster, and the crowd just went crazy. So that was pretty cool.
It looked fantastic to watch for sure. I can only imagine having been in that legendary Jim Norick arena. But we were just taking a look at what it looked like out there. And you recently got your judges card for the NRHA. And you were kind of saying that was a couple weeks before the Futurity, I believe. And it kind of shifted your perspective a little bit on what it's like to be an exhibitor as well. Tell me about that.
Well, I think, like, for me, you know, in the Futurity, I think it's important to look at your plus half maneuvers. And if you have a solid plus half horse, usually you can sneak some ones in there. Like, that horse could circle a 1. He could stop a 1, 1.5. So turning was, like, for me, where I kind of had to go, okay, I just need to be plus halves. And going to the judges school, you watch 1,000 plus half maneuvers. And, you know, there's every different style of getting a plus half. But the one thing that's in common is simple, easy, and clean. And that's kind of what I wanted to do on these turnarounds. Like, I didn't have a lot of ground here running in, so I had to veer off center a little bit to find ground. And, I mean, he drug his butt as soon as they got in there. Right here, I had a little problem getting started, but they still plus halved it. I kind of saved it. I was good, and I didn't have a shut-off penalty. This side has always been his weaker side, and I got turned a lot better. Might one judge give me a half-point penalty there, but once I got out of the turnarounds, it was just run and gun and have fun because he can drag his butt.
He looks like a lot of fun to ride, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the Futurity in Oklahoma City was interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, the last time at the Jim Norick Coliseum, that's being replaced over time. So there are a lot of last times happening. And we're looking at you now from the Southwest Reining Horse Futurity, which was in Ardmore, Oklahoma. You won this event.
Yep. Yeah, this was actually the first time I showed him one-handed. The last time we talked, it was just right after this, and I decided not to go to the Quarter Horse Congress just because I didn't feel quite ready, which I think is very important for people to be okay with not being ready. You know, don't go to the horse show if you're not ready, and I'm glad I stayed home because he showed awesome there. And honestly, from this show to the Futurity, all I did was work on his confidence. I pretty much had my rides where I could ride him 25 minutes and not have to use him up a lot and just build his confidence. I mean, he was so confident going into that horse show. And, you know, when your horse is that confident, you have a lot of confidence going into it too. So I knew he was potentially one of the horses to beat, and I knew if I did my job that I was going to lay down a run that somebody was going to have to beat me, and did.
And it did happen with Casey as well, being the first female to win that coveted title, but you were so close behind her. What do you think made the difference for the horses and for your athletes? We're taking a look at her run
Well, I
right
think
here.
this maneuver right here is what won it right there, because there was actually, I don't remember what draw she was. She was a little later. I think she was like draw 25 or something. And it was kind of getting quiet. And then that first maneuver just, I mean, roared the place. And you know, when you run in a stop at 1.5 like that, it carries you, that maneuver. I mean, she was easy half there, easy half, but that horse stopped freaky like he did. You know, comparing these runs, I think her first stop was better. I think I probably got circled a lot harder. And my last stop, my horse picked a foot up. I didn't have a lot of ground, and it could have been he was just tired. I mean, he just picked a foot up, and I mean, you could go +1 to 1.5 almost every one of her stops, and I mean, that thing is a little freak.
Yeah.
And Casey's a great friend of mine. I was so happy for her. I mean, to do what she did, you know, to be the first woman to ever win it, and then not only that, to be the last person to ever win it in that Coliseum, that's pretty special.
Yeah, it really is. We're taking a look at the top 4 right there. So, talk to me a little bit about, you grew up in Illinois, right?
Yep.
And now you live in horse country, Pilot Point, Texas. There's not a better piece of horse country in the state of Texas, at least, if not beyond, than Pilot Point, is there?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Scottsdale's growing a lot, but you know, the one thing about where we're at, the accessibility to everything, you know, like I would go on Saturdays to Sterling Ranch, which is just down the road, and I'd go school my horses, you know, put them in a show atmosphere and, you know, work on parts of my patterns, and your veterinarians are close, your tack stores, everything's right there, everything you need. And not only that, but there's so many horse trainers. If you want to go get help, you can go get help right there. And that was one big reason moving down was your accessibility. But, you know, I think when you're surrounded by people that are better than you, it pushes you to be better. And that was very important for me.
Oh, wow. You know, I mean, it blows my mind the camaraderie that there is between professional horsemen and everyone in this industry, like you're saying, and you're being able to be around them every day. And that also leads into the future. We were talking about your goals just a little bit ago with having your NRHA card. Tell me a little bit about what your hopes are for the future as a competitor and as a judge.
Well, I think it's important that us younger generations start stepping up in being a part of these different groups, whether it's judges or professional committee. And then eventually, like for me, I'd love to get on the judges committee, because I think it's important for us to know what's going to happen or predict, help, you know, push which way we want the reining to go to. You know, it is our livelihood. And eventually all these great people that are on it, they're not going to do it for the rest of their lives, and they're going to want to get off. And I think it's important for us younger generation to start stepping up and getting in all those groups.
We're pretty much out of time, Cole, but it's amazing to me how everything in the equestrian industry seems to be blossoming. Certainly, the NRHA is among those groups. I mean, it's give me just a real short comment, but I mean, this whole thing's blowing up right now, isn't it?
Well, I just did a clinic in Brazil last week, and I'm pretty sure they knew more about me than I did about them. I mean, like they knew. The one guy asked me, said, "How come you didn't ride in the show pen the night before?" And I was like, I mean, I guess I didn't realize that I didn't. I mean, the amount of spectators, people getting into it everywhere throughout the country is, not even the country, the world, is just insane. I mean, it's growing so fast.
Growing and blossoming, exactly like Steve said. What an incredible time to be a professional horseman and be a lover of the equine industry as a whole. Thank you so much for joining us. Cole is a professional horseman. He is a $1 million rider, an NRHA judge, and I mean, the list goes on and on of all of the accomplishments that he has had. But thank you for joining us on Western Sports Roundup.
Thanks for having me.